I was young. That's what he's saying to me. Do you understand it? Okay. Listen. Everyone sees young differently. I can have someone who passes that's 65 or 70 years old and they're like, I was young. Because in their mind, they thought they were going to live until they were like 85 or 90. Do you understand it? Okay, good. But he's saying to me, okay, so he's walking around and he's standing right here, okay, just over your left shoulder, and then their father energy is placing himself right here, okay? So today's about the brother. Okay, was he one of several you hoped for? I keep hearing, we have a long line here. So I know you, okay, all grandparents are passed. I'm being told there's parental energy on the other side as well. Is this the only sibling you lost though? Because I keep hearing one of two. One of two, one of two. That's what I keep hearing. Do you understand? One of two. Just means he's going to be the only brother that steps in today, because I kept hearing it's one, and then my guide said, but it's one of two. Do you understand? So I'm hearing him say one brother, because it's the only one that's stepping in today, and then my guy behind me keeps going, Kelly, it's one of two. So it just means he's the only one here, and that's fine. Boo. He completely takes my breath away, honey. He's making me feel like it was a really fast progression in the end. And he just snapped his fingers. And it's just his way of saying that it went so quick, I feel like I didn't have time to prepare to say goodbye. That's what he's saying to me. Do you understand it? So it's his acknowledgement to me as far as the cancer. Because I can have someone come through that has cancer, and they might make me feel the roller coaster. There might be 1 or 2 times they go into remission. They might make me feel like it was a long progressive cancer where they had it for 4, 5, 10, 20 years on and off. Do you understand? It's fast with him. He's snapping his finger to me because he just goes like this really quick. Takes my breath away completely. Even though I feel like it's in other parts of the body because he goes like this, and I know it's spreading into the stomach and further, the main diagnosis and what he suffered with the most was the lungs. Do you understand it? So when they start to come in, because I can have a lot of people who pass the cancer that come through in spirit in my groups. And so I always want them to acknowledge either the cancer that took them, the diagnosis of the cancer, or the part that affected them the most. So that's why he took me right to the lungs, okay? He shows me the white dove wings, so it's his way of validating to me that he's at peace. He's a little hard-headed. Because I'm feeling his personality a little bit. He was kind of very set in his ways and a little hard-headed. He's got some stubbornness to him. Can I ask you a question? I'm trying to figure out how to put this. Do you walk around with a chip on his shoulder a little bit? Because he's making me feel that about his personality, and he's saying to me he was a little too kind of set in his ways sometimes, and he could have eased up on it a little bit. So for whatever reason, he's given an apology about that. Were you pretty close to him? Okay. Because he's like, we were close, but sometimes she wanted to wring my neck. And I'm like, okay, are we really talking about this? But that's what he's saying to me. Do you understand it? And he's doing this for whatever reason. So it's his way of trying to validate to me, but he makes me feel the closeness between the two of you. This is really, really sincere when he says this, because it's just his way of... there's a lot of love and caring between the two of you, and you're very close to him, but I feel like he liked to banter. Do you understand it? So it's just his way of making me feel the personality about it, honey. That's all it is. He is so full of life when he steps forward, and he's saying to me, I didn't have a chance to do everything I wanted to when I was there. And that's why he was making me feel the suddenness of the snapping of the fingers as far as the passing. And he's saying to me, even though he's one of the ones that you lost, you did not expect him to step in today. He's like, surprised, you did not expect me. That's what I'm being told. And he just keeps it, he just went, why not? It's him it's him picking on you. Do you understand it? That's okay. So honey, he's carrying that same personality over to the other side very clearly. And very clearly he's like trying to still express that banter back and forth, and he's like, why not? It isn't my sister want to talk to me. It's him teasing you. And that's okay. Do you understand it? Good, perfect. I'm only gonna have him for another minute or two, but he just keeps saying to me, I didn't want her to come and spend the whole weekend here and not have a chance to at least have a message from one of us. Even though I'm not the one she expected, tell her I love her too. Do you understand it? And he's saying to me, he feels like he really didn't get a goodbye with you the way he would have wanted to. And he's saying to me that it's something that you've always held on to, and you've always felt guilty over. So he's saying to me, today he came to give you peace that he's with everybody else. And today he came to help you let go of your guilt that you've carried since his passing. Because I'm being told from a higher standpoint, they're giving this to you spiritually, because there's regret in your heart as far as feeling like you could have made the time to do it. Let that go, honey. Because he's like, she beats herself up because she looks back that she didn't make the time because she thought I would still be there. And I was taken like that, Kelly. That's what he just said to me. Do you understand it? So, honey, that comes from him in complete love. Because you have to remember, once they get on the other side, it's nothing but unconditional love. And they're with God and Jesus. So there's a higher understanding from the other side. So sometimes they will come through and pass validation for a certain reason because they have to. And it's about your further healing as far as the grief stage where you are, because he knows that you've been holding on to that and that you've been blaming yourself a little bit for this all along. Do you understand it? He's like, please tell her to let that go. Tell her this is my gift to her today, that she needs to let this be. That's what I keep hearing. You tell her I know how much she cared about me. She didn't need to prove it. I've never had anyone put it into words like that, but that's what he just said to me. Do you understand? So after you leave today, they make me feel there's like, whew, I can breathe. There's a huge weight coming off of you because this is something you've held on to for quite some time. Do you understand it? Good. I just said, God bless you. He's starting to pull his energy out. He did wonderful. I love her too. That's what I keep hearing. He wasn't a big person in expressing his emotions that way. And he makes me feel like you guys knew you cared for each other, but he never actually came out with the words, I love you. And he's saying to me that I think that's the first time I've ever been able to say that, so where my sister can actually hear me. So it's his way of acknowledging it's the very first time he's ever said I love you, because you guys just showed each other the caring through the actions. Do you understand it? He did fantastic. And honey, I only had him for a couple minutes, and that's okay. Okay, so let's see where we're going to next.